Jagrata. Jai Masters. People talk a lot about negativity and positiveness. Yoga, I use the word yoga to mean the highest states. Yoga is neither positive nor negative. It's called a transcendental philosophy. It transcends both. But let's look at that. That's a nice topic for tonight. What is negativity? What is negativity? Obviously, it is actually something of the mind. It is not something of the body. It is not something of the world outside. There's negativity that happens in the mind, always constant complaining, not liking anything, always looking at things that's half full, etc., etc., etc. Just basically the mind has a negative attitude. Therefore, everything that's coming in, when it comes into a negative mind, becomes negative. Even positive things, when they come into a negative mind, they look like, yeah, they're nice now, but they won't be later. Nothing ever lasts. How can I trust her? She says she loves me. I've been hurt before. That's what I love you sounds like to a negative mind. Trouble. It's very adorable. So, that's a mind. The mind can have a proclivity toward negativity. Where does it come from? Is it true that the mind is negative? That's like saying the computer's negative. The computer is neither negative nor positive. It is a computer. It is capable of running whatever programs you put in it, and the exact same mechanism, the memory, the processor, the graphics card, etc., they are capable of doing whatever it is you tell them to do, whatever program set you run in it. The exact same mechanism is used to create accounting, to create cooking, to create whatever it is you're doing with your computer. The computer is neither positive nor negative, neither good nor bad. It's just potential. That is exactly what your mind is. Your mind is not negative. Your mind is not positive. Those are programs that are running inside the mind. The mind is processing power. The mind is memory. The mind is analytical potential. It's a computer. It's literally a computer built inside for you to use. You were given one heck of a gift, all right? You wouldn't want to not have one. I'll tell you that right now. Complain about your mind all you want. I'll turn it off. See how well you do. No memory, no processing power, no analytics, no figuring anything out, no nothing. No. I won't go back there. So the mind, there's nothing wrong with the mind. The mind is beautiful. The mind is a gift. It's like there's nothing wrong with your body. It's a phenomenal gift that was given to you so that you can be mobile and experience this plane. It's a robot. You're in here, it's out here. And it picks up the senses of this plane and lets you experience and lets you be mobile, etc. The body's a phenomenal thing. That was one gift given to you. The poorest person in the world was given a body. The Defense Department could take $100 billion. They could never build a robot that is as functional and as nice and as advanced as the poorest person's body. They've not even come close that if I go up to their best robot and I scratch it, and I come back tomorrow, it's gone without anybody touching it. Yours does that, not quite tomorrow, but it does that. It is a phenomenal thing. Nothing comes even close. They make their wires out of copper or zinc or something. They make their wires out of metal. What are your wires made out of? Cells. Living cells are what make up your nerves. Okay? It's like, I'm not going to talk about it because I want to talk about the mind. Do you understand how more advanced your body is than robotics? God knows if 100 years from now they can come close. It's a phenomenal thing. I mean, imagine the difference between wires. They break, they're broken. This thing breaks, it talks to the next guy and remakes itself. Wow, it's just absolutely amazing. So basically, you were given some gifts. You, the consciousness, the awareness of being, your sense of self. You were given a body. Well, you were given a mind. It's about time you understood you are not your mind. No more than you are your computer. Your relationship with your mind is exactly the same as your relationship with your computer. It's a thing, but it's a very special computer. It's called a personal computer, a really personal computer. It's inside. Like the problem we have, even with our smartphones and everything like that, is we can make them really, really small, but then you can't see them. You need a big screen. What if I put the screen inside? Ooh, don't let them do it. It's going to happen someday, you understand that? You'll just use your smartphone and you'll just see it inside. It'll just stimulate the neurons or whatever it needs to do, and you won't need a screen. So you'll see it better than Google glasses, whatever they're called. You just literally go inside. That's what your computer is doing. It is rendering its graphics inside of you, inside the mind. You have a flat screen in there in the computer, and it is doing its analytics. How do you communicate to that computer? Here we use keyboards, we use a mouse, or we use voice, more advanced voice recognition. You don't need any of them. Intention is all it takes to make that computer work. You don't need to do a single thing. If I look at him, what's his name? That's all it takes. Just inside, and all of a sudden his name pops back, maybe. You hear what I'm telling you, right? You are interfacing with your inboard computer with will, with intention, aren't you? And then you are looking at its results. I'm telling you, I could give you a whole talk on it. It's a computer in there. Okay, that's what it's doing. Very good, wonderful. Therefore, it is neither good nor bad. It is neither positive nor negative. It's just a computer. It's potential. It has memory. The memory is not positive or negative. What you put in it is positive or negative. The processing power is neither positive or negative. What you use it to think about, right, could make a big mess or make something great. So it's the program that's running inside the mind, inside the computer, that you can judge as positive or negative, as constructive or destructive. But don't do that with your mind. The mind is just this gift that was given to you. Okay, can the mind, in essence, express a negative program? Can it get caught in a state to where the vast majority of what is going on in the mind is negative? No, it can't work. Why should I even bother? Oh my God, he's not going to like me. Why would he like me? Nobody else does. Nobody ever has. They say they do. They all say they do, but they're all lying. It's cute as a button. Even when they elected me class president and the most popular person in the class and the most likely person to succeed, it's just because they felt sorry for me. I know that. They're just trying to be nice or like charitable. Your mind can get like that, can't it? That's a negative program running inside the mind. Therefore, everything that comes into the mind is affected by that negative, affected, not the right word, not affected, infected. It is polluted and infected. Whatever comes in has to pass through your mind. Think about a computer. If I have a camera on my computer, the camera picks up the picture, but it sends it back to the computer. I can't do anything with it just because it passed through the lens. What you are picking up through your senses is coming through the nervous system and being sent back to your mind. And that's where you see it, inside your mind. So if the mind already has a proclivity toward negativity, then every single thing that comes in looks negative. Have you noticed that it can do that? Anything. You're sitting there and you had gardeners come out to do your lawn because you live in a subdivision. You want it to look good. One weed is higher than the other. That's all you see. You don't see the beauty of all the rest of the lawn. How much better? Just one weed. It's just absolutely unbelievable. The mind can become negative. And then everything that comes in is tinged with that negativity. And so it reinforces. Once you do that, you're in big trouble. Because once the mind becomes negative, then everything that comes in has to pass through the negative mind. Therefore, it looks negative. Therefore, it reinforces the negativity. You talk to somebody, and you have a negative mind. They're saying all kinds of nice things. The conversation is going well. Everything's nice. Then you say one thing that wasn't so smart, and the person laughs for a minute. But then you continue your conversation. That negative mind will only think about that when you walk away. And it will keep bothering you until eventually the whole conversation was really negative. And why do you even bother talking to anybody? Because you're such an idiot. And it can just do that to you. You need to wake up and notice that your mind is capable of talking like that. That's not you talking. If it's in there saying, oh God, I don't even know why I bother anymore. I can't ever get anything right in this. That's not you. That's your mind. You are the one that is aware that those thoughts are being created. You are aware, aren't you? You do notice that going on. Then you're the one who's noticing. So that's the essence of your starting position. You are noticing that the mind can become negative. Now, we said it was neutral. I didn't explain to you how it got negative. I just kind of gave you a clue. Once it gets there, you're in trouble because it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't play the piano, but I play around with playing the piano. And so I try to learn some stuff that's way beyond me. And I'm playing it. And if before I made a mistake in a certain area, I don't know if any of you guys are like this, but I'm playing a whole piece. And before, like maybe the time before I played it, I forgot that area and I messed up. I'm playing, I'm doing absolutely fine. My mind says, this is where you made a mistake last time. Well, if he's going to distract me by telling me this is where I made a mistake last time, guess what I'm going to do this time? That's exactly right. I was into the music. It was flowing. But then this thing took my consciousness. You have to pay attention to a thought requires consciousness. Your consciousness got removed, got distracted from what it was doing so that it could pay attention to the negative mind, which sat there and said, oh my God, you're going to make a mistake again. This was a mistake last time. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So once the mind becomes negative, once it becomes impressed with negative things, an impression, then you will find you have a negative mind. Now, how did that happen? How did the mind get negative? What's the origin of that? Because if what you do is you have a negative mind, and then you're taught, and you are, and there's nothing wrong with this, you're taught, be positive. This is what it sounds like, okay? Oh God, no one ever like me. Yes, they will, they'll like you. Oh, they don't know, I'm just, no, you're not a failure, you're good. Okay, I'm getting tired. This is a lot of work. The power of positive thinking. But I'm playing with you, but just understand, it is better doing that than not doing that. But there is a much higher thing to do. And that's what I want to talk to you about when it's all said and done. But do understand that if your choice is, my mind is negative, and it is, come on, all right? My mind is negative. It's just, how do I express this on you? It's so negative you don't know it's negative. Where do you want to go to eat today? Well, I don't want to go there. It was last time I ate there, the food was cold. But we go over there. Nah, because someone said the music they play. What are you doing? Pretty soon you can't eat anywhere. You order. What do you want to order? It's on the menu. You finally made it to a place. It's on the menu. Oh, no. How do I know what they're using? That may be vegetarian. They say it is, but it's probably not. They probably use the same spoon they use with the meat. So, is this just me, or can you all relate? Okay, that's a negative mind. That mind is bringing up negative points about every single thing that is entering into it. That's not very comfortable, is it? All right, it's not a lot of fun to live with that. How did it get that way? Would you like to know? Can we talk about that? Because if all you're going to do is put something positive on top of it, it's equivalent to bringing a whole family of skunks. You felt really bad about the little skunks, so you took them home and put them in your house. Well, they smell. We could get some air freshener. That's what you're going to do? Spray air freshener on top of the stink of a skunk? That's what being positive in your mind is. But I'm not knocking it, because I'm telling you, the alternative to having a positive thought, if that's all you can do, is negative. I'd rather have you put positive on top of the negative so you can start to work your way out. But that's what it's doing. There is a reason that your mind is negative. Work with that. There's skunks in the house. Get them out. Then we don't need the air freshener. I'm telling you, there is a reason, a core reason. Buddhists say work at the root. There is a core reason that the mind is negative. And the reason is exactly the same for every single person. How you like that? Even though what you're negative about is completely different. What you're negative about, she loves it, turns her on. It's totally explained by the same thing. I've talked to you about it before. Get it once and your life will change completely. What happens is as follows. An event takes place outside. It comes in, because that's what it does. It comes in where you're going to experience it. Some events feel good, some events don't feel good. There's not a question about it, okay? It's real. It's not make-believe. It's not negative or positive. If the event is actually taking place, I always use the example of the rattlesnake and the butterfly, because everybody gets that one. If it's a rattlesnake coming in, that's not so comfortable. If it's a butterfly landing on you coming in, that's very comfortable. Things have a nature. Everything has their nature. It is different. If somebody comes up to you and starts saying really nice things to you, God, you're so sweet, and everybody told me, I was embarrassed to even walk up to you because everybody says you're so nice, and I see now that you are, oh, it's kind of nice. Somebody walks up to you and says, oh my God, I don't want to talk to you. You can't believe what they say about you. Is it true? Are you really that mean? Did you really hurt so-and-so? It's not so much fun. How'd that come in, is it? So it comes in and it has a vibration to it. And it feels a certain way. Just like weather feels a certain way when it touches your skin. Hot, humid, cold. It feels a certain way. Things feel a certain way when they come in. That's not negative. But you said it didn't feel good. Not feeling good is not a negative mind. That is a mind experiencing a certain vibration that's at a certain level. Just like there's red, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Probably left out something. Roy G. Biv. There's just different vibrations of the light spectrum. There are different vibrations of things. That's all. That's not, you're going to say it's negative because it's not violet, but it's red. No, they're just different vibrations. Things have a vibration. They have a nature. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to change low, whatever it's called, 3 down C, 3 octaves down. I don't want it to be beep, beep, beep. All right, I want it to be what it is. So things have a vibration. It's fine. Good. Experience different things. So the experience of lower notes, the experience of higher notes, the experience of a skunk smell, the experience of great perfume, the experience of a butterfly, the experience of a rattlesnake, they're just experiences. They're real experiences. That is not negativity. And to say the rattlesnake was scary, that's not negativity. That's the description of an experience. Red is red and blue is blue. That's not negative, all right? It's describing the thing. All right. Could feel better? You're allowed to have that. That's holy. That's real. That's the mind doing its job. It's expressing inwardly what it's experiencing externally. Very good. That's not negativity, and that is not the cause of negativity. In fact, that is just a rich experience that you've had. So now you become more comfortable. I've explained this to you. So I look at life now. Every single experience you have makes you a greater person because you had the experience. You're more whole. You're more complete. If you never heard a note that went below middle C, you don't know much about music. So the more broad you are in the spectrum of what you experience in color, in sound, in weather, in people, in animals, then you're a richer person. That doesn't create negativity. It creates wisdom, creates maturity, it creates depth of being because you've had these experiences. Good, that sounds good, but how did the mind get negative? That's not how the mind got negative. I'm going to go very slow here because this is the most important thing you will ever learn. Because the mind is negative. How did it get that way? So we see that it's not the experience of life that makes the mind get negative. What happens is you decide to resist the experience of life. I don't want that to have happened. I want this to keep happening. You, the will, the center of consciousness, of awareness, are experiencing the experience, and instead of just experiencing it and letting it enrich in you and then experience the next experience, you sit there and say, I don't like that rattlesnake. I don't like what that felt like. I don't ever want to have that experience again. There's the birth of negativity. Right there. It wasn't the experience that was negative. It was your reaction to the experience that was negative. You had a negative reaction to experiencing a rattlesnake. You sat there and said, I don't like it. That's negative. The experience is not negative. What you did with it was negative. You made it negative. And likewise, you said, oh, I hope every time I go outside a butterfly lands on my arm. And I hope everybody sees it because it makes me feel really special when it happened. All right? You just defined something as positive, and it was fine. It was beautiful. That's different than saying, I want it to keep happening. I don't want to experience rattlesnakes, and I do want to experience butterflies landing on my arm when people are watching. So I feel special. That's after the fact. That's something you did to it. You made it positive or negative. You applied that to it. All right, fine. So what? I looked at it, I judged it. I categorized it. I like it, I don't like it. Why you make a big deal out of it? Because when you say, I don't like it, and I didn't like it, and I don't want it to happen again, and I don't even want it to have happened, then what you do is you get weird. You start pushing it away. Pushing what away? The rattlesnake? No, you better not be pushing the rattlesnake away. The rattlesnake's already gone. You're pushing away the experience. You're pushing away what came in that you were experiencing. You don't want to have experienced that. So you push it away. When you push it away, it stays. Otherwise, it just goes right through. It's like water rushing into the ocean. It just pours into the ocean, and you can't even tell what part of the water is where it came from. You understand that? It merges. Yoga. It just merges. The experience merges into your being, and you become wholer and greater. But not if you push it away. When you use your will to push it away, you actually can succeed in doing that. Mazel tov. Great. You win the booby prize. You pushed it away, so it stays. You didn't let it go. I told you once before when I say that, what I see is you're afraid of dogs. Even nice dogs. You're just afraid of dogs. You're afraid of dogs. And you're taking a walk, trying to get home, and there's these dogs. A little pack of 4 dogs. They belong to your neighbor. And they want to go home. And you want to go home in opposite directions. And you're afraid of the dogs. So when the dogs try to run past you to go home, you can't let them. Because you're afraid of them. So you throw sticks and throw little things at them, and they stay back. Well, you're going to have to do that for the rest of your life. You'll never go home. Otherwise, they run right by you, and that's it. They're gone. It's over. Is there a risk that something could happen? Yeah, sure. Anything can happen. But I'll tell you what will happen if you don't let them go. You will devote the rest of your life to making sure you don't have to face what it feels like for those dogs to run by you. That is exactly what happens when you push away the rattlesnake. That's exactly what happens when somebody comes up and says something not nice to you, and then they leave. It should be gone. It's like, whoa, that was rough. Okay? But you don't. You have no right to talk to me like that. This is ridiculous. I'm not put up with this. I don't want to experience that. I don't want to do that. I was having a good mood. You push it away. When you push it away, it stays. And not only stays, you have to keep pushing it away. You know this. I don't need to teach you this. What happens if I stop pushing it away? It comes back up. You're walking next time in the woods in a similar spot. There's no dogs. There's nothing. And all this fear shoots up inside of you the minute you cross over the spot where that happened, doesn't it? Come on. The stuff comes back up, doesn't it? Because you didn't let it go. It stays inside of you. And yoga is a word for that, literally. It's called a samskara. An impression that got left in your mind, not because it happened, because you didn't let it happen, because you pushed it away. Therefore, it stayed inside. That is the deepest thing you will ever learn. They stay in there, but they don't sit quietly in there. They're trying to release, just like the dog's trying to go home. They're not going to stop trying to go home. If you hold it down there, how long can it stay down there? Has anyone even heard of it being there when you're 50 years old because it happened when you were 3 or 4 or 5? What do they call those? The formative years? That's when you started doing this junk and building all that stuff down there and then built everything on top of it, didn't you? Okay? So when you push the stuff away or when you cling to it because you liked it. I like the butterfly. Don't go away. Oh, you went away. I don't know. You just made a positive thing negative. By holding on to it, you didn't let it go. By pushing it away, you didn't let it go. Both of them are why the mind is negative. You are storing negative things inside your mind. How do I know they're negative things? She didn't store what you stored. You're the one who said you didn't like it. You store what you don't like. And so you push it away. And now your mind is mostly filled with the junk that happened to you, every little thing when you broke your arm, when your sister got the date and you didn't, and this didn't. You understand that? Oh my God, you have so much stuff. And so you pushed it away. I'm telling you, it's still in there. So if you store that stuff in there, it is coming back up at every opportunity it can, unless you push it back down. And that's just what you do. I can get myself together. Get myself together. And you go back, oh, good job, push it back down. Once you have enough of that stored in there, it's trying to release. Since it was stored with pain, it was stored with negativity, it's going to release with pain and release with negativity. That's why the mind becomes negative. And you do the same thing with the positive things. Because you cling to it and you say, I really, really like this experience, you look to see if it will happen again. But nothing happens again. Everything's different. The world is never the same. From moment to moment, it's not the same, is it? It's not the same electrons, neutrons, protons, atoms, molecules. Everything's changing all over the place. But not you. Inside, you don't have to. You just cling to that thing. It's weird, isn't it? Okay? You can't recreate that which you liked before because you're different and it's different, and so you get all frustrated. So you even get negative about that. So if you hold, here's the motto, here's the final moral of the story. The mind is a beautiful instrument. If you break it by storing inside of it things that you didn't want to have happened, therefore you didn't let them go, or clinging to things that you hope will happen again, therefore you didn't let them go, your mind is no longer holistic. It's not in harmony with reality. It's stuck. It's stuck with the stuff that you stored in there, your stuff. We call it your stuff. It's all that's samskaras. Now, because they will not sit quietly, they are trying to release. And they release as negativity. They express themselves. I don't like dogs. I remember the time my neighbor's dog was trying to come by. I was so scared. I don't know what they would have done to me. I don't know. Finally, the neighbor came. The neighbor came and took them away. Oh my God, I don't even like the neighbor. I don't want to go over there. That's what happens. I could sit here all night and paint the examples, but I won't. If you store that stuff in there, it determines how your mind thinks because it is trying to release itself. All right? Do you understand that? Because you don't let it go, it stays and it causes trouble. So that's why the mind becomes negative, because it is running the program that you stored inside, which was a negative program. It's everything that ever hurt me, everything that I wasn't comfortable with, everything I didn't get that I wanted, every blah, 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 blah. Somebody I love died. You know, my uncle, I love my uncle, and he died. He was 72, but it doesn't matter. I loved him and he died. So I don't like death, and I don't like old people, and I don't want to get close to anybody. Because you couldn't handle the reality of the situation that life presented to you. You couldn't grow from it. You couldn't learn from it. You pushed it away, and now it has made you a mess. Fair enough? Okay. And I just gave you a few examples. I hope you can give me 7 billion more, because they go on all the time. That is where the negative mind comes from. You know how few people know that? They don't even care where it comes from. They just want to make sure it doesn't come up, and they get to do things that they feel better about. How can you feel better when you got all that junk in there? At some point, you're running away from yourself. You're trying to find situations outside that are distracting enough that you don't have to experience the negativity that's going on inside. That's what people go, and they're just faster and faster and getting in more and more trouble and causing more and more mess. All right. So it is not about positive and it's not about negative. I could be very zen with you, and now you'd understand. It's about emptiness. It means it's not about positive, it's not about negative, and it sure as heck ain't about putting positive on top of the negative, though that's better than doing nothing. It's about emptying. It's about coming back to the root and saying there is a reason my mind is negative. I'm not going to deal with the negative mind or with the world that it's interpreting as negative. I am going to deal with the reason that the mind is negative. Well, you are now one of the rarest beings that walk the face of the earth. Can you see it? If you have this negative mind and you run out there and try to change the world based on your negative mind, I don't care how nice it sounds, you're not getting there. You're not getting anywhere. You understand that? Okay? You're way out there. If you have a negative mind and you caught on enough to say, well, the world, it is as it is, let me start to put positive things on top of my negative mind, you'll be better off than if you didn't. But that is not the same as getting rid of the reason for the negative mind. Try to make the negative mind be positive. Don't bother. There is a reason. Try to make the house not smell without the spray. You can't. You got a skunk in there. Until you get the skunk out, you have to come down to the root. That's where all your work is. There is no other work that has any meaning other than stop it. Stop what? Stop resisting reality. Stop thinking that you have the right to push away what already happened. You have to start by honoring, respecting, accepting, embracing, experiencing the reality that is unfolding in front of you. Why do I have to? Because it's called reality for a reason. All right? I didn't say you can't do something about the next moment, but I promise you, there is no way you or anyone else is doing anything about the moment that just unfolded. Next one, sure, we can talk about it, but you're not doing anything about the one that just unfolded. It unfolded. You're not making it not unfold. Take it back. Say you're sorry. It doesn't matter. She said something mean, she said she's sorry. That's not the same as her having not said it. There's no way to make her not say it. You can't undo what already is. All you can do is put stuff on top of it or do something about it. So the highest life begins with acceptance. It begins with sitting there saying, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to break my mind by storing all this junk in here. I'm not trying to be holy. I'm not trying to be pure. I just don't want to break my mind by filling it with all this negative stuff that I couldn't handle, these experiences that I couldn't handle, and making them negative. So from now on, the experiences that unfold in front of me have the right to. I honor, accept, respect, and experience reality. That's a very rare being, okay? So you start with honoring and respecting the reality that's unfolding. What will happen if you start doing that, I've told you this before, you won't be pushing more stuff on top of your warehouse of garbage. And I'm telling you, I'm warning you, the old stuff will start coming up. All by people saying to me, but okay, I can handle the rain, I can handle this, somebody said something, but I got this thing about what my mother did when I was young, and I don't know how to, don't even think about it. Don't even touch it. I don't want you going fishing down there. It's polluted. It's not good water. You just pay attention right here, right now, to what's unfolding in front of you. And see if you're willing to not put more stuff in there, because you understand the cost is enormous, isn't it? And what is going to happen, because you're not pushing more stuff on there, is what we call a LIFO stack. In inventory, we call a LIFO stack, all right? Or in computers. You push something onto the stack, it's what pops off first. If you don't put more on, the old ones will start to pop off. LIFO, last in, first out. So if you're not putting more in, then the older ones get to pop out because there's not a whole stack in front of them. And that's what's going to happen. Well, how will I know that it popped out? Oh, you'll know. You'll know because you'll feel it. You'll feel this thing came back that you hadn't thought about for a while. And your first tendency is going to be, get out of my face. I thought you were done. You start pushing it back down. Don't. So honor and respect the moments unfolding in front of you. It has the right to be there. When the old stuff starts coming up, let it. You don't want it in there. You don't want it in there. It's why your mind is negative. It's why all this garbage is going on. So when the stuff comes up, you relax and you let it. Now, I talked to you, letting go of the present moment is sometimes scary. It just happened, oh my God. I don't understand how letting go of the past is a problem. I'm just going to play dumb. I'm a Martian. I just dropped down here, and you guys are Earthlings and you're very smart. The past is already over. It's already over. What happened to you when you were 5? I don't. You're 23 or whatever it is, 22 years old. And what difference does it make what happened when you were 5? It can't hurt you. It's not even happening anymore, is it? So why is it bothering you? It's bothering you because you held it in there since you were 5. And every time it came back, you pushed it back down. And you built a whole system on top of it. Who was wrong, who was right, and what you like and what you don't like. And my God, you built a world on top of that stuff. And so now it's down there for so long that it's rotten. And then when it tries to come back up, it bothers you. And so you push it back down. So you get to the point where you don't do that anymore. You just sit there and say, hey, come on, man. She was 5 years old. She didn't know what she was doing. I don't want that stuff in me. And when it starts to come back up, you just relax. People ask me a technique. There's your technique. What? What was the technique? What asana was that? It was the asana of letting go. The true asana of relaxation. It comes up. What do I do with it when it comes up? You relax. Because you remember this talk and you say, I don't want that in there. Don't want what in there? Any of it. I want to explore what it would be like if I stop storing all this negativity inside of me so that my mind doesn't have to be negative anymore and so that I can get my life back. Otherwise, it's running your life. So as you let this stuff go, everything changes. Your mind changes all by itself. You don't have to do anything. Just all of a sudden it's not as negative as it used to be. Why? Because it doesn't have all that junk in there causing it to try to release. And all of a sudden at some point you let go of enough, and there's periods of time where your mind is actually positive by itself. Not you're putting positive things on top of it. You wake up in the morning, you know what it says? Wow, this is going to be fun. Instead of, oh my God, what do I have to do today? Wakes up scared, doesn't it? Come on, watch it. One of the most important moments you will ever watch is what goes on inside your mind when you first wake up. I want you to take inventory, because at 99% of the time, the first thing it remembers is what was wrong yesterday and what you said wrong and what you had to do today that could go wrong. It just starts worrying immediately because of all this negative stuff that's in there. You can actually wake up in the morning and be happy and be filled with joy and love and excitement because you don't have all that stuff in there. So as you cleanse, your mind becomes more open, more positive. Now you start what's called the upward spiral. We already talked about the downward spiral. That was depressing. The upward spiral means your mind is more positive. Now the events that happen are interpreted positively, therefore they're positive. Therefore you're storing only really nice things and you're all excited and pretty. You go for day after day after day with no problems. None. Just experiences and challenges. They're not called problems anymore because your mind is not being negative about them. It's not like, oh, again, I can't handle this. It's just one thing after another. It's more like, wow, this is fun. What? Oh my God, I'm just going to multitask. You just have an exciting time and you're having fun. What's the difference? And once it becomes positive enough, open enough, because the junk's not in there, there's this second half. So the mind becomes more open and positive. But another thing happens. When you're holding that stuff down there, it requires energy to hold it down there. For me to keep the dogs away requires time and energy and concentration. Well, what if I had to keep the dogs away plus keep something else away and keep something else here? I'm pretty busy full time now. You know, all this stuff down there, it can't come back up. You better make sure he doesn't say this and she doesn't wear that and this doesn't happen and he doesn't sit too close to her. So you are expending your Shakti, your chi, that's what we call it. Your energy, your beautiful energy, you're expending it to do all of that. If you no longer have to do all of that because you release that stuff that's in you, all this energy comes to you. It's there. My God, you have more energy than a 5-year-old. And I don't care how old it could be 70, it doesn't matter. You got all this energy. And then it starts to flow because it doesn't know where to go. It's not stuck down there. And it always goes up. When you release it, it goes up. And pretty soon you feel these waves of uplifting energy welling up inside of you. That was the energy you were using to keep the junk down there, and the junk was polluting your mind. It can get really beautiful in there. I mean, seriously. Not because you got married, not because somebody said something nice, not because you won the lottery, just because you don't have all that negativity in there. You don't have all that junk you have to keep together. And it's hard. Ever have trouble holding it together? Holding what together? I don't see anything. Right? It's just you got all this junk in there, and you got to try and organize it and organize the world around you so it doesn't hit it. And that's how you struggle to hold it together, to keep it together. I don't want you keeping it together. I want you letting it go. Next time somebody says to you, get yourself together, say, no, I'm going to let myself go. You just let it go. Let it go. I'm telling you, it's not a matter of doing something. It's always a matter of not doing something. There was a great spiritual teacher who said spirituality is never about getting anything. It is always about getting rid of everything. And so this is what we're talking about. You see it? You're releasing. When you release, then the Shakti is freed. The mind becomes more positive. My God, the spiral that goes up is ridiculous. Your mind is seeing nothing but beauty, and now all this Shakti is flowing up inside of you, which is so beautiful. Literally, you feel rushes and rushes of energy just pouring up inside of you and feeds you. You're living off the energy flow. Where did it come from? It was always there. You were using it to keep your stuff together. You're sitting there manipulating, controlling. You're controlling inside, you're controlling outside. All of that is because you're storing that stuff in there. When I'm no longer keeping the skunks in the house, I don't need to spray things. I'm unemployed. I just go home and sit down in the easy chair. That's what happens inside. You get to sit in the easy chair. That's the seat of self, with joy and love pouring up inside of you. So this is the understanding of negative and positive. This is the understanding of how the mind got broken. You did it. If you keep storing inside your mind all of the natural experiences that weren't so comfortable to you, guess what you have stored inside? Experiences that aren't comfortable to you. I'm begging you, don't do it. Sometimes people say, Mickey, you don't teach techniques, because I don't teach alternate breathing and meditation, which are wonderful things to do. Listen, I'm a yogi. I'm not knocking them, right? I teach you the highest technique. I teach you the technique of letting go of yourself. That is the highest technique there is. If you do that regularly, all the rest will happen naturally. Everything. All your chakras will open. Everything will happen, because the only reason it's not happening is because you're blocking it. That stuff in there is literally what's blocking the chakras. It's blocking the whole system. It's blocking your whole energy system, because you're devoting all of your energy to fighting this stuff. If I'm sitting there keeping the dogs from running by, I lose my job. Why? I can't go to work. I lose my family. They don't even know where I am. They left, all right? In other words, it's not just a matter of me having to deal with the fear I have. Now that fear has taken over and dictated my life. That's what you're doing in there. It's not okay that that stuff is in there, any of it. You don't want to keep it in there. You don't want to convince people that you have the right to keep it in there. No matter what it is, period. You don't want it in there. That's your attitude. I'm letting this stuff go. All right? And you just do it. You just do it every minute of every second of your life. Whatever comes up, welcome it. And what is going to happen is you're going to get very high. And then what takes place is when the mind stops having to act based upon the stuff you stored in there, your mind becomes naturally quiet. And you will be able to use your mind for what you want to use it for, instead of it using you because of this garbage you stored in there. It becomes a totally different mind. You wouldn't even recognize it after some time. You will not recognize your mind compared to the way it used to be. All of a sudden, it's like a well-behaved kid versus, crazy kid running around causing trouble. All of a sudden, the kid grew up, got a certain age, and became polite and working with things and caring. Wouldn't that be nice? That's what your mind becomes like. It just becomes this really nice thing that just wants to help other people, doesn't care about itself, doesn't talk about all this stuff anymore. Literally, it can do that. But not while you have all this junk in there, because it needs to deal with that. So that's the basics. Now you understand something very few people understand. They'll teach you how to get rid of negativity, how to be positive. I'm teaching you why there's negativity. If you get rid of the root of the negativity, you don't have to fight with your mind. You have to do a single thing. You become your best friend. Your mind is a great gift, a very great gift. But you messed it up. And now I'm not going to talk about it because we're finished. Your heart, just ditto. There, ditto, I said it. Your heart is exactly the same. Your heart is the most beautiful thing that ever was. It's filled with love and joy and excitement and enthusiasm and passion. Ooh, it's so fun to have a nice heart in there. Not when it's got all that junk in it. Not when you stored all that stuff of everything that ever hurt you. Now it's just scared all the time, isn't it? It just gets nervous and it gets insecure and it gets selfish and it just becomes all mess, right? If you let go of the stuff you have stored in there, your heart will purify. It's called the purification of the heart. And it will open up, and it will always be open. Can you imagine? You want to feel love? For as long as you want it, it's pouring out. Just like when you're madly in love with somebody and the love pours out, anytime you want, anywhere you are, that's what it's supposed to be like. That is what your life is supposed to be like. You're whole and complete within yourself. So this is your work. This is how to do it. I think went real slow today. Do you understand? It's a natural process, purification. But not with you throwing the rocks at the dogs so they can't go by. All right. Work on these things. Jagrata.